I start with you all this morning by saying that I choose to trust and believe in you, because I do. Now, the first thing is that this trust is not naive. It might be slightly idealistic, but it's been my experience to be tried and true. It is from a belief and a lived reality that people, all of us, can rise to expectations, that people are as powerful as we believe ourselves to be. Now, some of us need encouragement to fill up a bit more space, right? We know who we are. And some of us maybe need some reminders to share it a bit more, right? We know who we are too. And I am happy to help and provide these offers with you all to one another as need be, so that all within this community are able to share their gifts, their life, their love, and their own ministries. Now, this trust of mine comes in a belief in all people, but also a belief in this community in particular. Your all's mission to foster spiritual growth, care for each other, protect and preserve the earth, and work for peace and justice. And your vision to become a fully inclusive, compassionate faith community known for working boldly and deeply for justice. I believe in your capacity to make these real, and I believe in it because I have already seen and felt your intention, your energy, your awareness, and your love. Now, I will say that based on your all's rising applause this morning, I perhaps misjudged based on your history where your level of energy and trust would already be, with people shouting out that they love me. However, I also want to acknowledge and make space and time to just say that a deepening relationship and trust takes time. So despite the enthusiasm, I still want to start there, right? And just acknowledge that you all have had a whole lot of ministers, right? And a whole lot of different experiences with ministers, right? A range that cannot be easily described with simple adjectives. So it's good and okay to just take some time and take this week and hopefully take a year and then more for us to get to know one another so that we are building something that is very real and very powerful together. Okay? And to do that, we will move at the speed that we need, move at the speed of trust. We can take a whole year getting to know one another. And I thought to start this process, I would just tell you some of the basics about me that might not have been in my little resume or bio profile. So I'll talk a little bit about 1, where I come from, 2, what I am, and 3, where I hope I and we will be going. Perhaps modeled after a song we're gonna be singing. Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Where are we? Where are we going? So I come very geographically from Haverhill and Andover, Massachusetts, which are suburbs about a half an hour north of Boston. We have some New England or Massachusetts folks in the audience. I come from my parents, Karen and Brian Parker, who were both special education teachers at high schools. Oh, there we go. And I come having been raised, my brother and I, to believe that we were like 150% Italian because we would go to the North End every other week and get our Parmesan cheese and our coffee at there's one place that you can go to get these things. It turns out that I am white and a European mutt and only 25% Italian. But I was raised with a very strong Italian identity. This comes from my mother's family, which has a lot of other educators and teachers. It also, from my dad's side of the family, there were and are a lot of struggles with addiction. And some of my call to do ministry around recovery and harm reduction and addiction comes just from relationship with my own family. Struggles that they have had and real miracles that have happened as well. From my dad's family, I also learned a love for people and how to show up simply and reliably for other folks. I have one brother. I am an oldest sibling, absolutely an oldest sibling, personality-wise. And my younger brother lives with his wife in Washington, D.C., and he is a communications specialist and a bit more in the political world. My brother's wife is Black, and our family over the last 5 to 10 years has been navigating what is it to be an interracial family? How does this affect where my parents decide to retire? How do we all find places where our whole family feels safe? The one other thing to know about my family is that the only physical fight I have ever been in was for my brother. We were in elementary school. He was in 1st grade. I was in 4th grade. And this 5th grader would pick on my brother and his best friend when I was not around. I have no memory of this, and I think my brother's memory is like a little bit made more grand, with time. But as he tells it, I went into that dodgeball game, and I took this 5th grader into the corner, and I beat him up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This was after he had physically more intensely assaulted my brother and his best friend, who was like a second brother to me. So I feel like what that says about me is don't mess with my people, And I take that seriously, though I now fight differently. Yeah. Okay. That's some about where I come from. What am I? I think first and foremost, I am a human. And part of my life and my ministry has been about how am I being fully human? And how am I welcoming other people into being fully human? We'll talk more about that next week. I'm also a partner and a wife. My husband, Dan, who's actually at a labor union conference in Charlotte right now, so he won't be here until next week, is a really important part of my life and a great support for me, and we enjoy getting into some good trouble together. I use the word partner because for the majority of my life, I was in relationships with women, and it a little bit came as a surprise to me that I wound up marrying a man, but life is full of mystery and unexpected surprises. So partner is a word that feels right and honest to me. I identify as queer, and I feel comfortable with using she or they pronouns. I felt a little weird about this before, but then I was like, wow, all these kids, all these youth, they have such different relationships with gender than I was raised to believe in. And if I was young, I would probably do that she or they thing. And then a year went by, and one of my mentors in Unitarian Universalism, her name is Jessica York, who's probably in her 60s. We know Jessica, she's lovely. They started doing the she, they thing in their signature, and I was like, gosh darn it. If someone who's 60 years old can be accepting and changing from the wisdom of kids, and I can't be, Come on, Kayla, get with it. So that was part of my journey in a pronoun switch, and I really welcome either one. Okay, some personal things about me are that music is an important spiritual practice for me that I do. I love listening to your choir, and I do enjoy musicals, though not as much as the many musical references in the title and description of this service might lead you to believe. I will say the exception of that, and this will age me appropriately, is that I think I know every single word to the musical Rent, like the whole discography. Okay. I am excellent at remembering song lyrics I was obsessed with when I was younger, such as Rent. However, I am not excellent at remembering names and words. I have mild dyslexia, and I will typically remember the first letter of someone's name, but sometimes after that, it gets a little confused. So know that if we have a conversation, I will likely remember the deepest struggles of your heart and joys of your spirit, and I will know your essence, and I might not remember your name. I'll probably remember the first letter, though. I have, in past congregations, shared the news with the congregation that Cheryl had cancer, when in fact it was Cindy. And because people knew this, they just kindly came up and reminded me of this. But know that that's a reality of who I am. And has been a really lovely thing to be learning about. Also, the gifts that dyslexia has, and many of us, I think, that have different disabilities or neurodiversities can claim that, you might forget names, but we're really actually pretty good at big picture thinking and being strategic. So I hope that I will be able to share all of those things with you all. A couple other things that will affect my time in church is that I am an introvert who loves people. And this means that at coffee hour, I will have a switch where I will be talking with someone, and then I'm like, okay, Kayla, it is time for you to go and take a nap. You are done. Most importantly, I love to listen, learn, and reflect, and I really love being a minister, and I love serving parishes and being in community with other folks. So, number 3, where am I going? Hopefully right here, right? And if I do become your called minister, I figured I should share with you some things that will be new for me. So the first and I think most important thing is that it will be new for me to be a minister, a mom, and a human in community in a city that I hope to be active in, right? I have never been a mother or a parent before, and I've certainly never been a minister and a mother in the same place, right? We're hoping to have our child in this church and to be raised in this church. And for me, that is very exciting and gives me like a slight mild anxiety, because traditionally I've been able to keep my work life and my personal life fairly separate. I think it's going to be like a little harder to do that when there's like a toddler who decides they want to come running up at some point during the service, okay? So I just want to let you know that that will be a new thing that I have to learn and navigate with you all. And I just ask for a little grace and probably some laughter, because I think it's going to be pretty funny, as I figure this out, granting me some space to navigate how I am both a mom and a minister in one space. I'm pretty excited about it, and it's also pretty new, and I felt like, y'all should know that. All right. The other thing that I'm hoping that we can figure out how to do together is to learn how to do collaborative ministry together, right? So I have mostly been in shorter term ministries where I've done collaborative ministry, but it's a little bit different when you can't be making plans for the long haul together. So that will be a new experience for me. And I think in many ways, a new experience for you all too, right? You have a new governance model. You have a new intention about what collaborative ministry is, about what building trust and building power together is, right? I also know that just given your all's strong lay leadership in this fellowship, that like collaborative ministry is sort of a new thing for you too. So I'm hoping that we can figure out how to do this together, how to share well, how to build power together. And actually, I love that you all use the word collaborative instead of the word shared, because the origins of the word share come from sharecrop farming, right? And the root of share actually means to have a little less, right? So that someone else is having more. And that's not really what we're trying to do, right? We're actually trying to build more energy, more joy, stronger, broader mission together. And collaborative is such a perfect word for that, right? Learning and building together. So it might be awkward at times. You know, we might have to figure some stuff out, shift some structures or some systems, work out some communication kinks maybe, but I'm hoping that with time and intention and some grace, we can figure this out together. How does that sound? All right. So, where are we going? Where I hope we are going together is into this dynamic, truly collaborative ministry and into mystery. We'll sing in a moment that life is a riddle and a mystery. All of the best things in my life and all of the best things that have come from shared collaborative ministry with congregations happen because we let ourselves ask the questions, who are we now? What are our gifts? What is our ministry and our work to do in this time and in this place? And then we let ourselves be open to the answers, be open to where we are being called within this church and in the community, in the here and in the now. So my hope is that we can be open to what happens when a few of us are gathered and ideas beyond our wildest individual dreams emerge. That we can be open to what happens when we saddle those dreams in reality. Thanks to Howard Thurman for that notion. And then we make them real, or some version of them real. My hope is that together we can wade into the mystery, that spirit that turns the world around, where lives the unknown and the magic, right? The mistakes and the miracles. And that we might find and make some magic and some ministry there together. That we might be willing to wade together into the unknown and co-create realities beyond our wildest dreams. It will take some time to get there, to be able to be in the mystery and navigate it skillfully together as a community, and to make something transformative with it. And it will take us trust to get there. And so in the meantime, we can be present, fully present with one another, fully present in the delight and the difficulty, in the troubled waters and waves of joy that are always moving through our lives. Amen. May it be so, and may we make it so.